Welcome back, travelers. I am back. Fantastic. It's been about 2 months since the last video. It was time well spent. I've been having some fun with my studies and writing about different sorts of fun things. But we have a few new projects. Joe's been working on editing, so after this video, we should have some other video game related stuff coming out. But today, we are talking about the black-green color combination, also known as the Survivor and the Destroyer. Before we get into the minutia of the green-black color combinations and how the two of them differ from each other, I'd like to give a shout out to Creevy, who over on Reddit asked for this particular video. So, to try and figure out what exactly it is these two colors have in common, let's look at how they view their enemy and their shared ally. Their shared ally being red, which is spontaneous, able to basically make snap decisions at a moment's notice, versus their enemy blue-white, which they see as very sanitized and unwilling to go the lengths, to go as far as is necessary. This is the reason why often you will see a black-green individual that is more, not necessarily a vigilante, but a anti-hero, willing to go further than they should in order to get what they need to do. And this goes into their ideology of win or lose. Either you're going to come out on top, or you're going to wind up in a gutter. And green-black, that's how they view things. The Golgari combination prefers to have a very clear cut. There is no tie. There is no try. It's either you do or you don't. So, with that in mind, their goal is to be the apex predator, to be the one that's the best at surviving, the fittest of all organisms in the ecosystem. Now, green and black are enemy colors, and their differences show up in how they want to go about becoming the top dog. You see, green isn't necessarily going to want to tear everything around it apart. They're more focused on outlasting their enemies. They're focused on outliving everyone else, living better, living stronger, remaining impervious to the encroaching death all around them. Black-green's ideology is more focused on being that encroaching death. They're the ones that, instead of being like a turtle that gets a stronger shell and becomes an armored beast, they're more focused on being the crocodile with the serrated jaws that can clamp onto anything, spin around, and rip it apart. So, outlast versus overcome. Outlast being green, overcome being black. So, when it comes to the green aspect, they continuously get hit and they get back up. It's the whole Rocky Balboa boxer mentality of you can continuously hit me over and over and over again. And even if my eye's swollen shut, my leg is limping, I'm still going to get you with the other fist that's still functioning. While the black-green overcome mentality is more along the lines of, I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of a razor with some venom put on it under my boxing glove, and then when I punch you, I'll walk away and watch you hit the ground. It's not necessarily unfair, cheaty tactics. It's more along the lines of, I'm smarter and I don't want to get punched in the face several times before I go down. Now, combined, these two color combinations, black-green and green-black, they have a tenacity that is unparalleled, and that truly is their greatest strength. The fact that you can keep coming at them and they will not go down. Green-black is the kind of person who, when they're playing a game, they're not just going to take you on, they're going to try and take you out. If they see you're the strongest person, you're the person they're going to go after first. They're going to kneecap you if they're possible. They're the one that is going to make sure that they are the ones that win. The downside to this is that their primary weakness is that they're brutally honest. This kind of goes back into the fact that green-black is the apex predator. The fact that they're on the top of the food chain means that everyone knows they're there. If you see a lion, you know what the lion is going to do. Probably nothing. The lioness does the work. But if you see a lioness coming at you, you have some idea of their hunting tactics, then you can fight back against them because they're not going to change them. If you grab a lion, throw it into the ocean where it has to face a shark, the shark is coming out on top. The environment is completely different. They're not prepared for it. they have no way to defend themselves. Same, of course, if you take that shark, who's an apex predator, in that environment, bring him to the lion's den, the shark is fish food. So combine those two things, the fact that you can be the best, but there's always going to be a bigger fish in another pond. And if you aren't prepared for what that fish has, then you're done. For instance, if a green-black individual is more used to mind games, they will adapt and become more adept at recognizing that trickery. But if they go into another area where it's more based on brute force, they're not going to survive. It's chess versus hockey. It's not going to translate well either direction, because even though you're the best, that doesn't mean you're the best at everything. Okay, so for the characters, I know I normally want to do a hero and a villain, but in this particular case, I found it kind of difficult because most characters that are green-black are neither heroes nor villains. They're more anti-heroes, even anti-villains. And I figured I would just use two characters who have, at different points in different storylines in comic books, been both hero and villain. So for the role of a hero, I've gone with Venom. Venom is a great example of a green-black character because he's a symbiote. So he has a parasitic relationship with his host, whoever it may be. But we're going to go ahead and talk more about the movie version of Venom that most people have seen. Venom is a great example of a black-green hero. What I mean by that being that he literally focuses on consuming, devouring, and destroying everything in his path that may or may not be a threat to him. Of course, his human side is tries to steer him clear of killing innocent individuals. That will not stop him from eating his own host's liver if he gets hungry enough. Eddie is green-black due to the fact that he is just trying to survive. He knows he's got this symbiote. It makes him stronger. It keeps him healthy to an extent, just as long as he keeps it fed. They're in a constant struggle of life and death in which they either both survive or they both die. And that's an extremely green-black dichotomy, that the two of them are focused primarily on life or death. This other character who is taking up the villain slot isn't as much focused on survival in the sense of life or death, but in rich or poor. Catwoman. She loves all things shiny. And for the purpose of the Catwoman, she's a general character. She's pretty much the same in all of her different iterations. She's Batman's love interest who also happens to be a thief, which makes perfect sense for a Caped Crusader he's French. He's a French Batman. Le Batman. She believes and acts in a way that getting money is equal to getting more power, to being on the top of the societal food chain. You will often find Catwoman appearing at galas to steal things off the people at the top of the societal food chain. And by gaining those things, she is able to elevate her own status as a criminal in the seedy underbelly of Gotham. Selena Kyle, Catwoman, is more likely to switch sides than almost any other character that I have read about in Batman's storylines, primarily because she is going with her best bets at not getting shot. And whoever will benefit her the most is who she goes with, be it Poison Ivy, Mr. Freeze, Penguin, Joker, not so much Joker, but Batman in particular. She will join forces and break those ties at a moment's notice simply so that she can make sure she stays on top, on the winning side. It's about win or lose. If you have any characters that you feel are straight heroes or straight villains, I would love to hear about those, because I feel like eventually we're going to have a video that talks about characters specifically. And if you guys have any particular characters you would like me to color code, those would be fun videos that I think would be a bit, they'd be a nice way to switch up the color combination videos. In addition, please leave a like. If you haven't already, please leave, like I said, a comment, but also specifically comment on what color combination you want to see next. The next video should be in another 2 months, but there should actually be some video game playthrough things in between that if you feel like watching those. The next video may or may not be red-black depending on how many people give their support for that particular combination, but this seems to be where we're headed. Thank you once again for watching, and we will see you guys in the next video. I will be putting on Reddit. I'll be putting up a post in the Color Pie subreddit about the 5 allied color combination, well, 10 allied color combination results, since basically all of them have been received as responses already. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Until then, travel well.